A lot of decision fatigue advice asks you to make a fresh set of upfront decisions to prevent later ones, build a meal plan, design a capsule wardrobe, set up an elaborate productivity system. For some people, this genuinely helps. For many others, it just moves the fatigue earlier in the week and adds the extra burden of maintaining a whole new system on top of an already full plate. The more sustainable approach isn't necessarily more planning, it's fewer, smaller decisions removed at the point they'd normally cost the most. That distinction matters because the goal here isn't a perfectly organized life. It's simply having a bit more decision-making capacity left for the choices that actually deserve it. One of the lowest effort fixes is choosing a genuine default for a handful of recurring small decisions. A go-to breakfast, a standard reply to messages you don't have energy to properly answer yet, a fallback outfit for rushed mornings. This isn't about eliminating choice. It's about not spending decision-making capacity on things that don't need a fresh decision every single time. A default isn't a life sentence. It can be changed anytime something better comes along. Its whole job is simply to remove one small drain from an already busy day, quietly, without requiring any ongoing effort to maintain. Decision-making capacity tends to be highest earlier in the day, before it's been spent on smaller things. Where possible, this makes the first part of the day worth protecting for whichever decision actually matters most that day. A difficult conversation, an important reply, a genuine choice rather than a routine one. This doesn't require a rigid morning routine or an elaborate schedule. It can be as simple as noticing what the one decision is that actually deserves fresh capacity, and trying, where possible, not to let smaller things use it up first. Not every decision needs to be made the moment it's asked for. Let me think about it and get back to you is a complete, reasonable answer, and one of the most underused tools against decision fatigue because it lets a choice wait for a moment when there's actually capacity to make it well. This is especially useful for decisions that feel urgent but genuinely aren't. Most replies, most small requests, most non-emergencies. Buying a few hours or even a day often means the same decision gets made with far less strain, simply because it wasn't forced through an empty tank. Rest that's still full of small choices, what to watch, where to go, what to do next, doesn't fully recharge decision-making capacity because it's still using the same resource, just in a lower stakes setting. Genuine decision-free time looks different. A walk with no destination decided in advance, a familiar film already chosen, time spent on something that doesn't require ongoing input or choices. This doesn't need to be a big block of time. Even 20 minutes with nothing to decide can meaningfully top up a depleted supply in a way that an entire evening of low-key choosing often can't. This week, we've named decision fatigue for what it actually is. A real cognitive limit, not a character flaw, traced how it quietly shapes an ordinary day, and looked at small sustainable ways to protect the decision-making capacity that matters most. None of this requires overhauling a life. It requires noticing where the small decisions are piling up and being a little more deliberate about which ones are actually worth spending on. If this series resonated, that reaction is itself worth trusting. Thank you for spending this week with us here on Healing Through Thoughts. Follow along for next week's series, and until then, be a little gentler with yourself about the choices that feel harder than they should.